All right, welcome to an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology Unleashed. Today we have a new episode in the in-person recording studio as we're going to be doing more episodes in person in the studio. Super excited because we wanted to rebrand some things, change some things up. Thanks to Liftoff Agent, which is the sponsor of the episodes, #1 marketing and positioning agency. Today we're going to go ahead and interview someone who is crushing it. She's new in the industry. She's with the Call Tattoo team and Justin Mercer and the gang over there here in Gilbert, Arizona. And so she actually was on an IG live, and now we're going to go ahead and have her here on our podcast so we can go deeper with her story and all the things from the beginning. So let's change up our camera angle. We have the one and only Veronica on Real Estate vs. Technology. What's going down? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. So we did the IG live. That was a lot of fun. And then I sent you over the podcast link, and like I could tell that you have like that grit, that tenacity. You're like done. Like, all right, I'm done. All right, next week, let's do this. So on the show, I just like to go deeper and like get people to have an opportunity to get to know you, who you are, where you started. I know that you've done things with like competitive swimming to all types of stuff, like to going and reaching out to your neighbor to like take some pictures with your dream car.
Yeah.
Shout out C8 Corvette. That's what Veronica wants. I love the brand. So you definitely have identified what is it that is going to set you apart, which is definitely going to be the pink jumpsuit, which is awesome. Yes. Definitely something when you go to her social media, you check it out, you see it. So, I mean, let's start off top. So, I mean, born and raised in Arizona?
Yeah, I was actually born over on the East Coast, and then my family moved to Arizona when I was like 9 months old. So I've been here my entire life. I really like it, actually.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've been in the East Valley primarily. We moved to Chandler, so yeah.
What do you think about like the heat though?
Oh my gosh, I'm actually used to it though. Like
I
like getting a tan. I cannot survive in the cold. It's not for me. It's
not.
It
was funny because Jordan, we went camping a couple weeks ago, and she was like, I don't like the heat. I like the cold. So it's 4:30 in the morning on a Sunday morning, and she's screaming because she's cold. And I'm just like, Jordan, I thought you said you loved the cold. And she's like, well, I don't want it too cold or too hot. I want it in the middle. I'm like, girlfriend, we ain't in California no more.
Yeah,
that's where we're from California. That's awesome. So have you lived just Maricopa County or Gilbert, Chandler, like just this area?
Yeah, just this area. I mean, I was in Chandler, and then I moved to Gilbert like 8 years ago.
Nice.
So I love it here though.
That's awesome. So you said you have a brother and he loves tech, huh?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Older brother. So I'm the middle child. I don't know if you could tell, but I have a younger sister and then an older brother. Yeah.
I love it. So older, you're the middle, and then they all live here?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are they aspirations to get in real estate, or is that just your thing?
No, it's just my thing. I'm really the only super entrepreneurial risk taker in the family. I think my dad is like a close runner up, but both my siblings have always been they're very academic. I never was really very academic like that. I was just kind of like, I just want to graduate and start a business with one. So I'm a lot different than them, but I still love them very much.
That's awesome. Was there like something that you saw or something that like gave you that inclination? You're like, oh my God, like you saw this person, this businesswoman, whatever, and then it like inspired you to do that? Or are you just born this way or what?
I'm just born this way, man. I'm born
just
with
born
it.
This way. Let's go.
God just kind of gave me that, he put it on my heart, to be an entrepreneur. And even when I was little, I would make little pot holders. I got a little kit, and I would sit out in my driveway and sell them.
What?
I was 8, and I would sit out there by myself. I don't think my mom was very happy because I was, by myself, strange danger, right?
Yeah.
No, I've always just had that hustle mentality, and I might have an issue with authority in some ways, so I like to be my own boss.
I'm right there with you as well. I feel like the authority thing is never been a fan of kind of it being this way, and then it's just this is what it is, and it just is. No, wait, I'm confused. I have to follow this, and I have to do this. It doesn't make sense to me either. And so let's deep dive. So I could tell that you have that grit, that tenacity, and that's just your vibe. And how did you get into this competitive swimming? How did that become? Was that your parents, or was that just you stumbled upon it? How did you go down that road?
So it was actually my grandmother. She had found a local club team called the Arizona Desert Dolphins. I actually ended up swimming with them for 11 years, but she found a club team, local synchronized swimming team, and they were having a water show, basically, just doing their routines and showing off the sport. I remember I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I saw synchronized swimming for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do that. Like this, like, can I cuss on here?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was like, this shit's cool as fuck.
We're
I need to
unleashed.
do it. Oh yeah, that's right. We're
letting
unleashed.
it all
Yeah,
out.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be a pantsuit, but let me get into it. I was just like, I have to do that. Like, I remember being just in awe at the strength and the beauty, and like, it just gave me something to look up to.
I love it.
And that was just planted in my heart from day one.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's how I found it.
That's dope. So you did it for 11 years, and then you were Olympics. Like, tell me more about like the end and why not still, competing?
Yeah. So I mean, I was elite. I was up there. I was one of the top athletes in the country. I competed on Team USA's national team, and I ended up going to Santiago, Chile. I competed as a soloist, and I actually won 3rd place out of this is the Pan American Games, so it was all of the Americas all together, and I was on the podium.
Wow.
I remember standing up there and had the USA flag around my shoulders and that medal around my neck.
Representing.
Yes, absolutely. I was very proud to represent, my country and everything. But honestly, there was a lot of grit and determination. There was also a lot of success. But the reason that I wanted to go to the Olympics, and it still pains me to this day. Honestly, I can't watch the Olympics without being like, oh, damn,
I should be there.
Yeah,
for sure.
It wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. The reason I'm not at the Olympics is my mental health really started to slip, and I wasn't taking care of myself as an athlete, and so that was really I was so burnt out. I was just burning the candle at both ends for 11 years, and I couldn't do it anymore. And it was really devastating, and it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made was to leave the sport.
Jeez. So, and I can tell that you're passionate about it. I can see it.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little about that, because there could be someone that's listening or viewing on YouTube right now that potentially could be burning ends at both ends, or, like what you said, just kind of just burnt out from nonstop, all just go. Like what happened? Were you just not taking breaks, or were you just pushing yourself to a point where even a break wouldn't be enough? Go a little bit deeper with that.
Yeah, I wasn't taking breaks. I thought that breaks were for people who were weak, basically. And I was like, well, I'm not weak. I'm strong as fuck. I'm gonna get through this.
Let's go.
But it ended up being detrimental, to my career there. It was also, it was a physical health thing. I've subluxed my shoulders, where it pops out of the socket and then it comes back in, but not all the way. Very painful. It's happened on my hips as well.
Oh no.
So I was having a lot of joint issues, but a lot of it came down to my mental health.
Yeah.
And I really developed mental illness as a result.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, so not having the balance, pushing yourself too hard, and then thinking that, because obviously we're not robots, right? We have to, even machines need to take a break, right? You can't just keep going. And so what did that teach you, and what are you taking and applying to your real estate business and your everyday getting up, grinding, still working out, still taking care of yourself? What have you applied to now what you do, and are you taking breaks, and what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way for sure. I've had to learn to take breaks. I've also had to learn to not base my entire self-worth around what I was achieving, because that was another problem. I grew up in an environment that was just so achievement oriented, and I wouldn't win the medal, I wouldn't get attention, I wouldn't have all these things if I did not perform.
Yeah.
So there's also that negative mental cycle that I'm still working on breaking. And so in real estate, I find I have to, have time blocked out just throughout the day. In my morning routine, I don't touch my phone. If a client calls me, which they usually don't, I don't answer. Like
Good
that's
for you.
like until like 8:30 a.m. Like
Mhm.
from the time I wake up to then, I'm not answering my phone.
Wow.
So it's just having that balance and having those boundaries around my business.
Yeah.
And then of course focusing on like going to the gym, exercising. I wake up and take a walk every morning. Sometimes I go
Awesome.
sprint, like just that physical activity,
Yeah.
release those endorphins. That's what really helps me.
That's awesome. That's cool. And I could tell that first off, I want to say that looking at you and thinking about like, cause we categorize because your age and because you're younger, like you could still do it. Come on. But then hearing your story and hearing where you're at, it just doesn't make sense, especially if you want to live a long time and you want to be healthy. And if one day you want to have a family and you want to be able to do the things and not have to feel like you can't live as fruitfully as you could physically, and of course mentally, that'll take some time as well as you possibly could. So thanks for sharing that. And I think that anyone who's watching, take breaks. It's okay. We're humans. You don't have to be perfect. And even if it takes you longer to maybe get to the Olympics, I feel like from what you told me, it's okay just to take more time to get there. And eventually you could achieve it and you can make that happen. And you don't have to go as hard, but I feel like it's really helped you grow quite a bit, because when we did the live on Instagram and you're talking about your age and things of that nature, I'm like, the way that you handle yourself, you seem older than you are, because probably all the things that you went through to help you get where you're at today.
Yeah, that's you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I'm a lot older. I'm like, no, actually, no.
Good for you. I mean, that's great though, right? Because at the end of the day, like I remember first getting started in business, I call it ageism. People would categorize you as like, oh, you're too young, or you don't know this, or whatever the case may be, which made me feel like I'm less than. And why? Because I have less experience. And it's just like, no, like give me a shot. Like I have the fire, I have the drive. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna be a sponge. I'm gonna get it done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I love that. So it's good for you on that side. So when it comes to like mental health, and I really believe like your vibe creates your tribe, and I love what Justin's doing, and I love how he is creating the misfit side of things, successful misfits and bringing people together. And I can see how, and maybe you knew or didn't know this, but you saw the billboard. We talked about it on the IG live on the Instagram page for Liftoff Agent, and you saw the billboard, you kept driving past it, and you're like, I don't know, there's something. And then eventually you reached out, and then we talked about in the live, and now you're on the team. And I know he struggles also with mental, he has some things going on his own self as far as his mental health. And it's like almost mind boggling, because you see him on the billboard, you see the cars, you see the tattoo, on video, he's different than in person. And even when he was here, Real Estate First Technology, he was on the podcast, he was in the studio. Check out his episode, we'll link it down below. He was like nervous, and you could feel his energy. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like he doesn't need to be like that. He's like amazing, but we all have our demons and are going through whatever it is. And you can never just look in like a billboard or look at a car and just assume, so I got to say shout out to Justin. And it's crazy that now you found him, and then you both have found multiple people in the community that are also have gone through and dealing with things as far as mental health. And what would be some advice or some things that you're doing for anyone out there who's struggling with mental health, whether they're telling themselves they're not good enough, or they can't do it, or they're listening to what other people are saying, or looking at social media and, oh, this person has millions of followers, I can never be that. Like, what are some things that you do to help yourself, and some things that you potentially can help any of our viewers and listeners with?
Honestly, I mean, I'm gonna get a little deep here.
Let's go.
When I was suicidal, I would look myself in the mirror every day, and I would tell myself, keep fighting. Keep fighting.
I love that.
No matter how beat up I was from the day before and how much I didn't want to live, I would tell myself that. It's those affirmations, because then you actually start to believe it. And when someone would have told me that when I was going through that, I would have been like, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, I can't change my life with the way that I speak to myself. But in reality, that's everything. Your self-talk is either your best help or your worst enemy.
Amen.
You have to be your own cheerleader. And because I was just such a crippled perfectionist from synchro, like from synchronized swimming, I was just like, that negative self-talk really took me over.
Wow.
And I think it's just like, your life is so worth living.
Yeah.
You have yet to see how cool shit is going to get.
Amen.
I am so like proud that I didn't leave this earth. Like I'm so happy that I'm still here.
Amen.
But I didn't see it at the time.
Of course not.
There was light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
There is light. I'm living in it now.
Let's go.
And like I do everything for that 16-year-old Victoria that was scared, alone, depressed, suicidal. I do everything for her. So anyone who's struggling, I would say this: change your self-talk. Change that shit up. Like if you keep telling yourself that you're not worth the shit, you're not worth the shit.
Amen.
So change it up. Do you want to be here or not?
I love that. I love that. Good for you. And I we have to be our biggest cheerleader. No one's gonna come up and be like, "Oh, you got this." And our parents may try, but they don't know what they don't know, because everyone has their own things going on. And as much as they try, depending on whoever's listening and watching, the relationships that we have with our parents, it could be, who knows, could be too ultimate, could be good, could be bad, could be very open, could be very closed. And even if you have good friends and people to reach out to, it starts and stops with you. And you have to get yourself out of bed. You have to think about, what do I want out of this life? Do I want to travel? Do I want nice things? Do I want a family? Like, what the hell do I want? And it's awesome that you've seen what you've seen and gone through what you've gone through, now to look back at your 16-year-old self and be like, hey, I'm doing it for you, girl. Mm-hmm. Because I believe every single thing that we've gone through takes us to that place where we're at today. Like this, like everything, every single phone call, text message, travel, trip, whatever, brought you to this moment where this person is either listening to this or watching this and potentially getting something from it, where now they're going to be like, whoa, like I'm going to reach out. Monica's awesome. I'm going to support her. I'm going to hang out, whatever, like, use her services, buy a home, sell my home, whatever it is. And I appreciate you sharing that, because at the end of the day, life is beautiful. I believe that we all have choices. And to get really deep here is, I believe that we all decided before we came here, I'm talking as a physical being from a spiritual level, we decided to be here and to go through this journey in life. And so maybe you wanted to experience what that was like to be that competitor, that athlete, to then go through suicidal thoughts, to be able to serve, support, and help other people, so then they can go through the opportunity of living through you, and then potentially you being that light to help them out. And like, that's exactly what I want to do. Like the liftoff agent, even real estate first technology, it's great. It's a driver to support my family. It's a driver to get the message out there. But more importantly, it's like, I want to go to schools, motivational speak, and support and serve and share my story, like you're sharing your story, to serve the greater good for millions of people out there that are in the workforce and they're not happy, or they're in relationships and they're not happy, or they're doing competitive swimming or any sport and they're not happy, or they're having suicidal thoughts, and they stumble upon this podcast, which is like, hold on, real estate versus technology. Where's the real estate and tech come in? We'll talk about that later. And, we're going deeper, hence the unleashed part about your story. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the space to share it, because I've never really spoke about it a whole bunch on social media at all. So.
I love it. And of course, and that right there is what being your true authentic self is being you and being authentically you to your audience, so people know who you are. They can go deeper with you, understand what you're going through, and then want to work with you because you're a beautiful human being, more so than because you're a competitor and you're like at the Olympics, where there will be people like that. But at the end of the day, like if you went that road, who knows what would have happened in the future, and all those people you would have been surrounded with that would have maybe just like used you because of the fact that you had the clout.
Yeah, no, yeah, I want people to be able to like connect with me. Like if anything, like I went through that experience of, almost ending my own life, 4 different times.
Wow.
So that I can now like share it with somebody. Like I hope that somebody, like if there's anything that comes in my life, it's that someone chooses to keep living because of me.
Wow.
That makes me tear up.
Let's
honestly.
go. I love that.
That's what it is.
So if anyone out there is listening to this, I know we're going super deep on this and taking this into a direction which I'm very grateful for, because there's so much more than just technology or business and transactions and all that type of stuff. If you're going through something right now and you need help or someone to talk to or whatever, like at the real NLK3, send me a DM.
Yeah, me too. I'd be happy to talk to anybody. Like,
awesome.
Seriously, like, hit me up.
Let's go. Send us a DM, reach out, send us a video message, send us an audio message, whatever it is, and we got you for sure. So let's now talk about, like, okay, you've been there and now you're here. What do you see for yourself, like, now that I know every day it might be becoming more and more clear. It might even be becoming more and more clear as we're talking right now. Like, what do you see for your future as you build the financial freedom that you'll have to be able to do what? Like, are you going to help the youth, like go motivational speak? Like, I mean, it could be real fresh right now, and this could be like something maybe you thought about or didn't think about, but I'm curious because I would love to think about, like, let's manifest what's next, get you back on the show, and then, like, what happened? You know what I'm saying?
See what happens.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, honestly, once I build up that financial freedom, I want to be able to go and help other young entrepreneurs,
okay,
and especially other maybe young women who have struggled with some of the things that I struggled with.
I love that.
And even just other young people, because I know how isolating it can be, and I almost lost my life, right? So it's like, if I can help somebody stay here, that's all I want. I guess anything that, like, I don't have a clear vision on it yet, to be honest. Like, I feel like lately I've just been, like, really living, like, in the moment and being super present, but so much to the point where I, like, don't always look at the future.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing in the future, I'd love to have, like, a happy, healthy marriage. I'd probably want to have a couple kids.
There you go.
So I can, there's a small desire inside me to, be a mom. I think it's a lot bigger, but it's just suppressed by, the fact that I'm young and it's not time yet, right?
Yeah, enjoy.
But, I mean, just to be able to raise strong children, with good morals, good head on their shoulders.
Amen.
This world's a dark place. So if I can do anything to put other good humans into the world, like, that's how I want to give back. That's what I want to do.
I love that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're in a place in time where you're in the now and you're enjoying and you're having fun. And anyone who's, in their early 20s deserves that and should. And of course, any age, let's be real.
Yeah.
It's just
absolutely
exactly. It's just like when you first get started in business and just being out and graduating, it's just like everything's so fun and all the things. And so, but that's cool that you have, some inklings, like, I want to do this, and this, but nothing set in stone, which is cool. And it's going to be great. And that's why we're doing this podcast, for people to follow that journey, right? Like, where are you headed? Where are you going? What are you doing? What does that turn into? Which is going to be super cool. Yeah. So I'm excited to watch.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Of course. So, let's get into, so now you're in real estate. So you're in real estate, with the Call Tattoo team, crushing it. EXP, Justin Mercer, you guys are doing a lot with the Successful Misfits, to cold calling on Thursdays. What is it, seltzers?
Scripts and seltzers. That's my favorite.
Scripts and seltzers, love it. So I know we talked about this in the Instagram live, and you're like, well, I don't really think about the numbers. I'm more like wanting to serve and support and just help in that manner of, like, families, which is totally admirable. I love that. So what is your goal? What do you see for your company, short term, just this year, not going to go too far out, like serving some more families this year? Like, who have you already served? Do you have any cool stories of someone that you've helped so far that you'd love to share with the audience?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, the first-time homebuyer has a very special place in my heart. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, no, list to last. Like, don't waste your time on the people with, maybe their price point isn't super high. But it's like, no, man, like, fuck that shit. Like, they need help. I'm going to get them a house.
Yeah, let's go.
Again, people over profits all day. I recently just had a client, and the deal got rough. We actually closed 2 weeks later, and I mean, I won't go too into detail, but the listing agent, I was representing the buyers. The listing agent was, like, nowhere to be found.
Wow.
And so he gave me permission, and the seller gave me permission to, like, communicate with the seller directly. And I had to do that to get the deal done. Like, it was just like I was working so hard, and, like, it's not even like I was double siding it.
Yeah.
I was just getting one commission, but it was everything to me because like it's my client's first home, dude.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Let's go.
So we just closed last week, and it was
Congrats.
just really, really good to be able to help them. And like things got a little rough, but I was able to get it to the finish line, and I know that they're happy, and that makes me happy.
That's super dope. I think I remember we did the live, and then that same day you had that closing.
Yes.
I saw Justin post about that as well. So congratulations. Let's go.
Thank you.
And I think that like to go a little deeper in that subject matter, and like that's why Liftoff Agents around, because this industry, like they say, I think it's like half of the licensed real estate professionals just in the state of Arizona don't transact.
Yeah.
And the fact that you had that situation where the listing agent was nowhere to be found, I mean, talk about spending your commissions check before you even have it, let alone being available for you to help with that process, which is ridiculous. And I'm sure you're going to see more of it because this industry, the barrier to entry is so low, and it's humbling to see someone like yourself. Hence why, another reason why I want to have you on the show, because I know the way that you're going to represent this industry is a way that it should be represented, especially when someone's buying the biggest purchase of their life. Let's be real.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. That really means a lot. That's
Of
all
course.
I want.
Of course. Hell yeah. I mean, and that's where the rubber meets the road. You know, I think too many, especially companies or podcasts, like there's like an alternative motive. And for us, it's about going deeper in what needs to be, the light that needs to be shined on, whether it's your personality, your backstory, your why, what you've been through to serve, support other people who's watching, to then get into maybe a little bit of tech on the real estate versus tech side, to the real estate side, to the transaction side of like what's happening in this industry. Because I don't think, I mean, the average consumer doesn't really think too much about it until they want to buy a house. And then they're like, oh, I need to get a house, and then how does this process work? And then they might go on Google and they're doing some searches. And then I know you're starting to get on YouTube more and more videos, and they might find one of your videos. Who knows? Yeah, right. So let's go. So I like that you have already seen that, and that you'll be able to change that narrative in the game because it's ridiculous.
No, it is. And my dad always says something to me. He says, whenever you have a space where people can make a lot of money, you're going to run into a lot of unsavory characters. That's like the exact terminology he uses, and it's accurate. And unfortunately, real estate is one of those spaces.
Yeah.
And so again, like whatever I can do to help change that narrative and create that trust there, like that's everything to me. Like, fuck the money. Seriously, dude. Like, I'd rather just help people.
That's what's up. Yeah. A lot of people, it's interesting. A lot of people look at money and they're like, oh my God, like this, that, the other thing they can do with it. And the problem is that anything that you want to do that has meaning in life is free. $0, cost you nothing. Okay. You know, and quick story, Nissan GTR, $85,000 car. I got the car. And if I was in my 20s, I'd probably look at it as like, oh, look at me, like, you know, whatever. Now I'm like, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's a way to motivate. It's a way to inspire. It's a way to be able to share the experiences. When we're done with the podcast, we're gonna go for a ride. I told you could drive it. Right.
Yes, I love that. I'm looking forward to it.
We're gonna get some behind the scenes footage. Yes. So it might be in this episode, or you might have to check us out on the gram. And so that's what I use it for more so than anything else. And I feel like so many people look at it as like, and it sucks, but there's a lot of greedy people out there. And I feel like, you know, not to go too far off a tangent, but the backbone of this country is built off a lot of greed, and it sucks.
It is, yeah.
The leaders out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, really? Like, and I feel like we're going through this shift right now, and it's like we're shifting and changing and evolving. I feel like as just like a human species, like, you know, going a little deeper there. And I'm excited to see what's next, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And I'm excited to be around individuals like yourself, because I feel like your vibe creates your tribe. And that's with all barriers aside, right? It doesn't matter about your age, your sex, your preferences, your whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's come together, and it's like, let's go.
Totally. No, I'm right there with you. And to say, I mean, greed is just, nothing bothers me. It's just, I mean, that bothers me a lot, especially just in real estate. But I mean, my dad, another quote from my dad.
You're good.
He says, he's like, give somebody money and power and you'll see who they really are.
Yeah.
Because that amplifies everything. And we see that literally on a spectacle every day in society.
Just like alcohol.
Yep.
someone starts drinking some alcohol, you're like, whoa, who the fuck are you? Like, all right, maybe I go in this direction because I don't know who I'm with right now.
Exactly. Yeah, a whole different person comes out.
Exactly.
It's kind of scary.
It is very scary. So you got to be careful with that. But no, I think that I could see you having lots of success and by default having lots of money, but being able to shine light and showcase the way that you can use it as a tool to then serve and give back. And like, who knows, create like maybe your own organization that can help people that want to potentially commit suicide, or I don't know, start a podcast and like interview people that are going through some crazy shit and like shine light on stories where people love stories and that can turn into who knows what. So I don't know. I'm throwing out some manifestations for you here.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, about the like starting a charity or something. I mean, one of the reasons I got into real estate is so I'd have the capital to go and start my own makeup brand.
Ooh.
I actually had my own business. I started it when I was 17. I was literally about to graduate high school. And I was selling like lashes and like eyeliner, and it was just like my thing. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm also a licensed esthetician and makeup artist. So
there you go, learn more things.
So I've been in the beauty industry. I actually did freelance makeup artistry like in high school. Like I do people's makeup for proms. So to sideline on like starting some kind of foundation, I'd love to have my own makeup brand someday, but then also have it make a bigger impact and help like people realize their inner beauty, not just like their outer beauty, and also to donate into, you know, some other organizations. Like that's really the big vision, honestly.
That could be like it could be like a spinoff, right? Like like, oh, well, I'm going to do your makeup and you're going to look fabulous.
Yes.
But behind the scenes, like we're going to work on your mental health and all the things. So you don't have to feel like you got to put on this face to be someone you're not. You could be who you are and then also put on this face as well. And that's what I see about you in your content. Like you have like a yin and yang. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm going to get done up and, you know, and do the thing. And then sometimes you're like, whatever, I'm just going to keep it just be and natural as whatever.
Yeah. No, I think it took me a while to like show off that side of myself because I am glam, like that's me. But it's also like, I wake up in the morning and like, I don't always look like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, I'm me, you know? And I think, especially with all the filters and people like to catfish on social media. I always wanted to show like my real self. Like nobody will ever question like what I look like without makeup because it's just me, dude. Like, you know, so
it's who I am and keeping it real. I know it's like stories where it's like you go to a bar and then like you wake up the next morning with like a chick and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, oh. But went to bed with a 10 and woke up with a 2.
This is
what Katy Perry said.
It's not what I signed up for. But it's so true. It's so true. And that's where it's like my daughter, she's 4, she'll be 5 coming up in September. And it's like, she's like, mommy does the makeup thing. And so she wants to do the makeup thing. And it's like, we're trying to teach her the balance. Like you don't need to have, because Melissa, the wifey, her mom was all about it. Like if she came home without lipstick on, what you've been doing. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those situations.
Okay, yeah.
And so she grew up with that. And I tried to tell her, I said, you don't need any of that shit. You're good. Like, don't worry about it. And then, you know, whatever. And so now with Jordan, we have the opportunity to like give her a little bit more of the contrast. Like, okay, there's a time, there's a place, all the things, but not all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. No, I think that's good that you're teaching her that. I mean, my parents didn't even let me touch makeup until I was like 13. And I would like sneak my mom's like, you know, champagne colored eyeshadow and like mascara and like her like lip balm. I'd be like, ooh, I look good. You know, like I'd have to sneak it. And then she found out and then she just started letting me wear it because she could tell that I really liked it.
Come on, mom. You know,
it's okay. I'm glad that I was like, I had to wait and I couldn't wear it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it was like, I held it off and then I was finally able to express that creativity when it was the right time.
Yeah, give you that opportunity to like have the contrast and then get it and be that much more appreciative that you could do that. Yeah. And then I love that whole makeup concept. And it's crazy, like when you start to go deeper and have a conversation, how one thing can spark something else, which now we know really what the true story is and what she wants to do as she goes through this process. Because real estate will, for anyone listening out there, give you capital quick. The biggest issue is that agents don't get ready for the tax implications, right? So making sure that you set yourself up, which is a good idea, is good habits to have like an LLC. So then as soon as you get your commission, that commission goes to your LLC, and then you pay yourself as an employee, and you get your check every 2 weeks like you would as an employee. So then you can stretch that out. So people like to get their license and then they get their big old check, and then they got like a Burberry purse, or they got a new car or whatever. And then I've had clients on the lift off agent side had like a $50,000 tax application, and they had to cancel because they didn't save and schedule and set up themselves for success in paying taxes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, nobody likes taxes,
No.
do they? But yeah, you do have to save for it, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, shout out to Arizona, because so I just got the GTR, about to go Thursday to do, because it was delivered here from Houston, Texas. So the tax implication and also the registration happens later on. And so I'm going to do that on Thursday. And I was like, all right, went online, doing some research. They don't tell you specifically like what you're going to pay, but I found out in the state of Texas, it's like $270. And I think I'm going to be paying like $1,200 to $1,300 here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
shout out to Arizona.
Yeah, shout out to Arizona. But the cool thing that is shout out to Arizona is that they give you an actual, and if you know, they are always working on roads and cleaning things up out here.
Yeah.
And they give you a sheet, and it tells you specifically what things are going towards, as far as your taxes and your registration goes towards roads, goes towards this and that and whatever. So I will say shout out Arizona for that, because we do deserve, and this is a completely different topic, I know that we're not going on a tangent right now, we do deserve to know where the fuck our taxes are going to, and how they're spending it and why they're spending it. And we should have, if us as a citizen is being accountable, then the power at B should be accountable.
I agree.
Hello.
Yep.
It's some basic shit.
Yeah. Facts.
So I don't know.
Facts don't bring.
Exactly.
Yep.
But that's for a different topic, maybe on a different show or something.
Different rant.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the tech side of the show. So real estate, you've been in it for a few years now, just had a transaction last week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know before we got started, you're already, getting the phone, getting ready, getting some content, some B-roll. Yeah, exactly. So let's just go into the grant. So you're new on Instagram. When did you get started? I know it hasn't been that long. What type of success have you had already with it, and advice for the viewers and listeners?
I mean, I've had Instagram actually for a while now, but for real estate, I mean, it hasn't, been that long. I started 9 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So it was really just I feel like Instagram gives me that opportunity to build a really good audience and build that rapport.
Okay.
Because a lot of time, because of my age, people just assume that I don't know my shit, but I do know my shit.
Yeah.
So Instagram is that opportunity to make those educational videos, but to also show off my personality. So that people know, when they hit me up and they're ready to buy or sell, they already know my personality, which is cool. And then they already know that they like me.
I love it.
So it either qualifies me or disqualifies me in their book.
Yes.
And I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of did you hear that? It qualifies you or disqualifies you. So that's why you get on video and you get on social media, because you can have less tough conversations with people you don't vibe with, because they're going to come after you and they're going to call, they're going to reach out, they're going to be like, oh my God, I watched this, that, and other video for the Gilbert, Arizona, whatever channel. And then oh, I'm already decided, which happens all the time compared to the vice versa. So your last transaction from last week, was that from social media?
Yeah. It was actually from kind of my sphere, but I had followed up using social media.
There you go. I love that.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm the same way. So Play Bigger, shout out Raquel. She was also in the hot seat right here. She's in Scottsdale.
I'm honored. I'm not even
You're
on her level or anything.
You're more on the level than you think you do, but at the end of the day, it'll take some time before you realize that.
Yeah.
So she was here. Shout out, she's awesome, and she had the Play Bigger event. And then so I day one had a videographer, but majority of the stuff I just done myself, vlogging camera, behind the scenes footage, whatever. My goal is to talk to every single person. So we invested about $4,500 sponsorship and also for the videographer. And so there's about 100 attendees, and I'm not saying the goal is to close all this business from it. I may have a target goal, of course, of income, because as a business owner, you have a team, and with the team, you need to make sure, especially we get profit first. So everyone in our team on a quarterly basis gets to share in the profits. So I want to make sure they keep them motivated and keep them happy, and they are serving their families. And we're talking about working with people in the Philippines, and it's a completely different life type situation out there, and the income's different than where we are here in the States. Way too privileged, and that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Shout out to Philippines. And so I'm using Instagram for the same thing. So that way I could literally just either, whether it's a voice message, or I'm like, hey, what's going down, and doing an actual video message to connect with these individuals. And then what I'm doing now more than ever before is then tying in like the wifey went. So now I'm tying her in the video. Oh, then the daughter's on the couch and she's showing, so I'm tying her in the video. So that way it's showcasing more of like the life and what's going on, and not just like, hey, what's up? Like, you saw me on stage, sign up for our services. It's more like, hey, hope your day's going well. This is what we're up to. Oh yeah, the wifey's interested in that like red light, like little mash you had or whatever. Shout out Stephanie, she's in Chicago. Someone that we'll be meeting. And it's more like just real that way, instead of it needing to be like, I don't like it's like, use a CRM, customer relationship management tool. It's great for getting everything out of your head. But my CRM system is like Instagram DMs, my email, my calendar, and like text messages.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you show off those other parts of your life too.
Yeah.
Because it's like at the end of the day, like we're all just humans. Like it doesn't matter how much of a professional I am. Like, yes, I'm professional. I run a business. But it's like, dude, I'm human. And I also love that you show that too, like, with your kids, your wife, like
all day.
People love that relatability, and I feel like that's why like the people who succeed on social media, like they show their real selves. Like people have gotten past like falling in love with a facade. People want that connection and want that relatability. That is everything. Like nobody gives a shit about the filters, the perfect angles. Like they just want to see you. If they are your tribe, if they're that 33% that's gonna like you no matter what, oh, they're gonna fuck with you, dude. Like, you just have to show your real self.
And the one thing that I don't see from like Grant Cardone, I mean, the list goes on, Dean Graziosi, whatever, all these fucking top influential type people. It's like a lot of like not only scripted, but like premeditated content where it's been filmed, edited, cut, and posted, and it's kind of like on a schedule. Which, don't get me wrong, like we have like our short content, like, okay, cool, like I'll film it and then it goes to the team, it gets scheduled, it gets edited, all that type of stuff. And if you go to the stories, like I show up every single day, almost 7 days a week, showing you exactly what I'm doing with my life, like consistently. And a lot of these fucking people don't do that shit. And I get that they're busy, but it takes 2 seconds for anyone who's listening and watching right now to pull out your phone and just share what you got going down, what you're doing, where you're at, where you're going, food that you're eating, whatever it is. And then you'll never know who will be watching and what will be happening. And I mean, the last couple of events I went to, and then after getting the car, like, I'm like, damn, my stories are like getting some views now. This is dope. You know what I'm saying? And it motivates me to do more. And I just got off a podcast, and it was from the Play Bigger event. And I shared some of my story on stage, and they wanted more. And so then I was like, oh shit. So then I'm like telling more of the story. They want to hear more about what's going on. And it's just like, I don't know, super, super grateful. It's so dope.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, again, people want to see the real you.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut the shit, you know, just show who you really are. You can't hide it for that long.
No, and if you do, and you're not a righteous business person, and you're doing some type of Ponzi scheme or whatever the fuck, you're gonna find yourself in jail real quick. Real quick. Yeah. So YouTube, I want to talk a little bit about YouTube. I know we just talked about Instagram. So Justin went to West Next Real Estate in October last year, and he heard from Levi Lassick and Travis. And they have passive prospecting clients of ours here at Liftoff, and they're talking about like getting on YouTube. Even Mike Shore talked about it as well. A friend of mine up in Canada, get on YouTube. And like, so I remember he came back, he was like, all right, we'll get on YouTube, do this channel thing. I'm pretty sure he talked to you, because then I saw shortly after you have this YouTube channel. Now you're pushing it. Yeah. So YouTube channel, how's it going? Thoughts?
You know, it's been good. I think it's like, it's really hard to like, quote unquote, go viral on YouTube. Like it definitely takes a lot more consistency than, for example, like Instagram or TikTok or any other like short form platform. But even then, like Google owns YouTube, right?
Yep.
So it's like you have the biggest search engine owning the second largest search
Yeah.
engine. That's a really good fucking opportunity for
Mhm.
business. I mean, I'm no
Let's
expert, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So I feel like getting on YouTube, I'm still finding my groove with it. I was actually on YouTube when I was a makeup artist, and I would make these like stupid little like makeup tutorials. Well, not stupid, but I would put a bunch of like memes in there and make them really funny and entertaining.
People like that shit though.
Yeah, it'd be like 3 minutes long, and
Okay.
it was like my thing. So I'm trying to find that same groove with the real estate business and the just my real estate YouTube.
I got it.
I guess I'm still finding that groove, honestly.
You want me to throw you some ideas?
Yes, of course.
All right, so you're gonna do a YouTube video, and it's gonna be like, there's a couple cool ideas I've been seeing, which is like you have a house that you want to showcase, and then like you tie that into like makeup, where like, and I've seen you kind of do it before, like you're getting ready, doing your makeup to go like tour a house or whatever the case may be. But like I could see you maybe like touring a house, and then either like you have someone else, like a videographer, kind of comes with you, and it could just be a friend on your phone, whatever. And like next like you're showing shit, and then you're just like caught up doing makeup in like the bathroom real quick, and it's just like, oh shit, I gotta get back on my hold on.
Yeah, or I'm like, oh, check the lighting, isn't this vanity gorgeous? Like
yes, exactly. Like, look at this bathroom, the lighting's so dope. Let me show you how my makeup goes on just right. You know what I'm saying? Or like whatever to like go with that, because I know makeup tutorials do really well on YouTube. Okay, and a lot of people forget about the fact that like do what you love. Like if you love makeup, then incorporate makeup into what you're doing, because then you can attract more people that like that shit. Because what I'm learning more and more is that like any interaction that I have in my day, whether it's sitting here with Veronica doing a podcast, to sitting in a strategy session, to getting on stage to speak, like I want it to feel like it's just like flow. Yeah. Like it's not like a job. It's not like there's like, oh, I need this, and this in order to feel some type of way. And like people always do that shit. Like, oh, when I get this, I'll feel like that. No, that's not how it works. You feel like you feel no matter what. And then when you get to that goal and that finish line, then you feel like even like more some type of way. Mm-hmm. Like what the fuck? Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I definitely need to incorporate more of my makeup stuff, because makeup really is like my passion. Yeah. Like, I love real estate all day, and I still have the vision to have my own just worldwide makeup brand. And so incorporating those two things is definitely going to happen. I remember I started a series on my TikTok called Beauty Secrets from a Real Estate Agent. And I would basically just be like doing my makeup, showing off some products that I use, because girl, it's hot out here. Like the Arizona summer is brutal, obviously, and my makeup needs to stay on. So I just want to share like what I would do. So yeah, I definitely need to. You're inspiring me now to really like tap more into that. I think
that's the goal.
The past few months I've kind of like lost that. I need to get back on it. So
that's the goal.
I got you.
That's why it's like any interaction, especially like this, to inspire people out there who's watching this. Also to help inspire one another to go bigger with whatever the fuck we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's like you got to get back down to the basics, because we get so caught up in whatever, paying bills, doing this, doing that we forget, like, let's slow the fuck down for a second. Let's get back into who we are truly and what we truly like. And I've met people who are like, I went to the Play Bigger event, and then it was like Kevin Cruz, shout out Kevin Cruz, Bay Area Connect Real Estate. He's a badass broker. And he's just like, I remember when I had a coach, and he had a GTR, and I was like, oh my God, one day, yada, yada. And I said, what happened? He's like, oh, well, things change, life, this, that, and another thing. I'm like, no, you're not being your true, authentic, original self, because, oh, you got a wife, you got this, you got that. Like now I'm so grateful, because now I get to share with my family, and like my daughter's like putting like the @NLK3 logo on the side of the car last night, and she's having fun, and I'm sharing that and everything else. And it's like, there's so much more now to not just have it for me, but to share it, not just even with friends, followers, supporters, but then the family. It's like, what? Like, it's dope.
Yeah. No, I love that. I really look up to you for that. I definitely want to have a family one day for that reason. I appreciate you. Be able to share like the wealth and like the achievement, and like also teach them how to work hard though, because they ain't getting handed shit.
Exactly. And that's what we're working on right now, because like both us, Melissa and I, did not grow up in privilege. I've been through a lot of shit in my day. She's been a lot of shit in her day. And so teaching her like this isn't reality for a lot of kids. So we're actually going to go to Korea, and we're going to the Philippines in October. And so we're going to show her like some shit. So she's going to see how some kids are living and see what's up. So she would be able to have that contract. And of course, we always tell her like, this is what it is, and be transparent so she knows.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good that you do that though. Like, I mean, the US isn't the world. Here in the US, we live so much better than like the rest of the world. Like, whole nother
we're in a bubble.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And so it's always, a contrast thing to do what you got to do to put out that perspective for, anyone. You can just like with the podcast, put out perspectives, and then hopefully someone vibes with it. And then just that one person you could serve, or, helping her to get to that next level, or helping you to get some ideas, incorporate that into what you're doing. Cause I can see for you a whole brand around, and you got to figure out how you can spin it with the brand makeup, which you already do on TikTok, and then just kind of tie that in. That could be everything from like on the card to with your listing pack, whatever. And then you could tie all that in, and then be able to just be around more. And you could even have like your core, like women and shit, dudes, whatever, transgender, that are just like all about it. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's like if Call Cat Tattoo could say you get inked, right, with a deal, you could get like makeup, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
like,
love that idea.
Get a professional, like after every closing, you're gonna get a glam, right? Like we're gonna get your hair done, your nails done, your feet done, and get your makeup done.
Yeah.
And then you and your partner are gonna go out on dinner on me. You know what I'm saying? So every single closing, you're like, boom, make them feel special and shit. So they have that. I don't know.
I love that idea, actually. Thank you for sharing.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I love this so much.
Right?
Just the creativity is flowing right now.
Shit,
I hope you guys are feeling this.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yeah.
You guys, anything that's coming up for you, put in the comments. Send direct DMs. We got you. And that could even turn into you reinvesting into your product line. And you could be able to do like the corporate world called swag. You could basically have your little swag
bags.
You know what I'm saying? Like, here's your swag bag with your makeup, and then when they're doing their makeup, you know what I'm saying? Then you have like that 7 streams. Boom. Now they're going into your fucking Shopify, whatever, and then they're buying your product after they already bought your home. You know what I'm saying? And it just can turn into so much more.
It totally can. Yeah, I definitely. I would love nothing more than to start up my makeup business again.
There you
go.
It's
coming. It's coming.
There you go. Get your money right. Build your foundation, and as soon as that's like, it just flows, and then you can be like, all right, now I can start incorporating this, incorporate that. And that's what we did. Start with Liftoff. And then after Liftoff, the podcast got born during COVID because we couldn't meet anybody, and we want to go deeper with people. And so we did that around 2020. And then now we have the event we kicked off 2 years ago to be able to like tie people in for the podcast or clients at Liftoff to have fun with that. And then, go live every Thursday on Instagram and just serving, showing up, supporting. But man, this has been an amazing podcast. And I feel like I want to keep going, but I also want to not give them everything.
Yeah.
And I want
some secrets.
Yeah. And I want you to be able to come back so we could talk about the makeup line, talk about the business, talk about the YouTube channel, what's changed, what's different, what's the same mindset, how you shifted from just, we'll say 12 months out. So 12 months this time.
I'll be back.
Let's go.
We'll see me again.
And so in closing, for anyone who's watching the show right now, what would you like for them to take from the episode, from you personally, that they can apply to their business so they can have more massive success?
I say
life.
Or just life.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it goes along with being authentic to yourself. I'm actually reading the book right now. It's called The 4 Agreements. And there's a line in there that's like, we look for acceptance from other people, but we don't even accept ourselves.
Boom.
I'm like, damn. I mean, that hits close to home. I struggled so long feeling like I was just like my personality was too big, but I said this on the live, like my personality was too big because I was in a small room. I just needed to get into a bigger room with different people who actually supported me. So yeah, if there's anything I'd say, continue to be authentic to yourself, love yourself first always, because that's where it's like you're able to actually go out and give that love to somebody else. Nobody can do it like you. That's your fucking superpower. I'm Victoria Zimm. That is me. You are you. Like, it's like, embrace that shit.
Let's
Embrace it.
go. I love that. I love that. You heard it first. I can't believe it. Your first podcast, she actually crushed it.
Thank you.
And I hope y'all took just one thing, right? One nugget that you can apply to your business, have more massive success at the end of the day. As you know, we want to all play bigger in life and really just have good balance. And of course, you know, starts and stops with you.
Yeah.
Gotta love yourself. Gotta give yourself a pat on the back sometimes, and remember that, like, whatever it is that you got, be grateful for it.
Exactly. Somebody always has it way worse than you. There's somebody else that would kill to be in your position.
Yeah.
So take advantage of your position.
Go
up from there.
As small or big as it is, could be that you have the nicest phone, newest phone, new pair of shoes, whatever. Even if it's an apartment. Hey, you got an apartment, you got some internet. You're watching this show. There's so much more.
Yep.
So much more.
Untapped potential.
Let's go. All the links are down below. Follow Victoria. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. New episodes every Friday, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Liftoff Agent at Liftoff Agent. Want to watch the live? You can go ahead and check that out as well. 12 months out, we'll get you back on the show. And appreciate you yet again.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. It's been amazing.
Of course.
I hope that at least one person can, you know, whatever I said resonates with them.
Let's go. And we appreciate you. More importantly, if it wasn't for you, this episode wouldn't be as amazing as it is. As at the end of the day, of course, like, we're vibing. There's a lot of stuff that we can take from this. And now you're inspired to get to work, get shit done.
I'm so inspired. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I hope you're inspired too. And we will see you all on the next one.